She's finally here, our Ice Lunar Queen, Jing Liu. As somebody who goes by Moon, which by the way, hi guys, I'm Moon, this character is easily one of the top characters I've been waiting for because just look at her design, her animations, even her sass in the story is just so good. Today, I'm going to be sharing my love for Jing Liu by giving you guys a complete guide to her, which will go over teams, how to play Jing Liu, her rotations, her best build options, and much more. If you guys enjoy videos like these, make sure to subscribe. And also, leave a like on the video if you like Jing Liu. She'll be really happy that you did this. Now, let's get straight into the video.
But in the end, the sword moves beyond such notions.
Jing Liu has a pretty interesting kit in comparison to a lot of our traditional DPS characters with her health draining capabilities when she is in her Mara-struck form. Jing Liu is able to be a powerhouse on the battlefield with these stacks that she gets from her skill, her ultimate, and her technique. The stacks are only her main limitation though, but once you get the 2 stacks, you'll be good to go to get into her Mara-struck state. This will allow her to no longer consume skill points or gain them, which makes her skill point neutral at that point, increase her crit rate by a whopping 50%, advance her action forward as well once she's in her Mara-struck state, which means she'll instantly be able to attack again, deal damage to an enemy and adjacent enemies, and also become Vampire Jing Liu and drain an amount of health from each teammate to massively buff herself up and literally dominate the battlefield. Yeah, she gains a lot from being in her Mara-struck form, and her talent is a hefty one, but to sum it up, she gains a respective amount of attack increases depending on how much health the team has. But this is also dependent on her base attack for how much of a buff she can gain from her talent, as there is a cap which is at level 10, 180% of her base attack. A safe number to aim for is a collective of 10,500 HP between all 3 of your teammates. So let's say that each teammate had roughly 3,500 health. That would be the 10,500 divided by 3. So then let's say they all had that amount, you'll be fine. Of course though, if you have a character with really high HP, let's just say Blade, Bushwin, a built-out Bailu, Lynx, and so on, then this can reduce how much health is needed from other teammates on the team. So getting Jing Liu's damage potential with her talent shouldn't be too difficult to achieve. Another cool thing about Jing Liu is her technique, which creates her own domain expansion. Just kidding, you guys. She does an ice domain though, which can freeze enemies in the overworld. Also, when you begin battle, she has a 100% base chance to freeze them, and this domain lasts throughout the battle. So each wave her domain will trigger, which has a chance to freeze enemies and be nice overall for some crowd controlling when you start a fight or a new wave of enemies do come in. Her traces are pretty awesome too, since it'll allow her ultimate damage to be increased by 20% when she's in her Mara-struck form, increase her effect resistance also by 35%, and when she uses her normal skill before transforming, she'll be able to advance her action forward by 10%, which can help her get into her Mara-struck form as soon as possible, since then she can use another skill and then she'll be in the Mara-struck form. She also gains crit damage, speed, and max HP from her traces, which the speed and crit damage is really nice for making her be able to cycle more in battle with proper speed investment, and also the crit damage is nice for Vampire Jing Liu lunar explosions. Now that we've gone over the basis of Jing Liu though, let's go over how to play her in some ideal team partners.
But in the end, the sword moves beyond such notions.
When it comes to playing Jing Liu, your main goal is to get her in her Mara-struck form, or honestly at this point, I'm just going to call it the vampire form as much as possible. The easiest way to do this is to use your skill twice. I wouldn't recommend using your ultimate until you get into vampire mode, since it'll waste the damage potential her ultimate would have done otherwise. Plus, it can help extend her buffed state for longer, as she can hold 3 stacks at once when she's in her buff state. So for a basic rotation, I recommend skill and then skill. Then you can skill again if your ultimate isn't ready, but if it is ready, then you can go ahead and use your ultimate and then skill again. Once she's out of her vampire form though, your goal is honestly just to get back into it, and she's pretty consistent with damage as well once you are in the form. When it comes to team building Jing Liu, you'll want a team that primarily supports her with a few team ideas as well. The most successful teams I've found is Jing Liu with 2 buffers or a buffer debuffer and sustain, and also for a fun team, Jing Liu and Blade. For the base buffer debuffer team, The supports I found best with Jing Liu was Bronya, Pela, Tingyun, and Silverwolf. Yukong can be used, but the issue is that when Jing Liu gets advanced forward with her normal skills, it can mess up the rotation, so you do need to speed tune quite a bit, or it can become a little bit messy and difficult to use Yukong with her. Bronya is great either as speedy Bronya or a Bronya slower than Jing Liu. If Bronya is slower, you could do a similar rotation as you would with Blade, which is Jing Liu attacks, Bronya's skill on Jing Liu goes again, and then Bronya's skill again on Jing Liu. This can allow Jing Liu to go a bunch within turns. This can also allow her to speed up her process of getting back into her vampire form. You will need characters on the team to help with the skill point consumption though. Pela is an awesome option since she's very skill point positive overall, and your sustain being skill point positive can be really good as well. Tingyun is a good option for giving Jing Liu more energy and can also buff Jing Liu's damage even further. Pela is nice for defense shredding enemies with her AoE ultimate, plus at E4 she can reduce an enemy's ice resistance with her skill, which can allow Jing Liu to deal more damage onto them. Silverwolf is nice for weakness implantations she can inflict onto the enemy, which can allow for an ice quantum-centric team. Asta could be good as well, but I personally had better experiences with the other characters for the buffs they provide and synergies. As for a fun team comp, you could do Jing Liu with Blade, since Jing Liu can reduce Blade's health and make him hit follow-up attacks more often, and also reach his ultimate cap faster for damage potential. You have to be wary of skill points though, and definitely need a character that can restore your skill points, otherwise you're just going to be pretty low on skill points throughout fights. Jing Liu can be pretty flexible though when it comes to partners, as long as you have a good sustain and a way to regenerate skill points at a good rate. But the only way to make your Jing Liu dominate the battlefield is to build her properly.
But in the end, the sword moves beyond such notions.
When it comes to building Jing Liu, I have a few Relic and Planar suggestions that I found the best on her. For Relics, I recommend the 4-piece Glacial Hunter set for ice damage increase, and after using Jing Liu's ultimate, she will gain 25% for damage for 2 turns. This could be pretty nice if you use the skill ultimate rotation, because your next 2 enhanced skills will have the additional 25% crit damage, which is great for damage potential, and overall this set is definitely one of her best. Another option can be 2-piece Musketeer, 2-piece Ice set, which can give you additional attack and also the ice damage bonus. This could be a nice alternative for those who do not wish to heavily relic grind the Glacial Hunter set, and is still a viable option. I would recommend the Glacial Hunter set a bit more though personally. Another set is the Quantum set, which, hear me out on this one. This set can allow Jing Liu to ignore enemies' defenses by up to 20% with the right conditions, and since she massively buffs her own attack, this can make for a lethal lunar combo on the enemy. I would suggest a character like Silverwolf though if you intend to use this set, as it'll mainly be beneficial for enemies who are quantum weak, and if they are quantum weak then you could take full advantage of the defense ignoring aspects of the set, and this can allow Jing Liu to do quite a lot of damage as well. And this set is a bit more conditional though in its viability, but it's still a really good option to use on her, especially if enemies are quantum weak. As for Planar sets, I recommend the Ruthless set the most since she's able to buff her crit rate. This could be great for getting additional skill damage bonus from the set, and since she uses her skill the most than anything else, this is a super good option to consider. You can also use the Inert Salsado set for increased ultimate damage, which is beneficial for Jing Liu. So either work, but I do recommend Rutilant the most. For main stats, I recommend Crit Damage Body Piece since she gets a free 50% crit rate in her Vampire state, Speed Boots or Attack Boots if you can get 134 speed, Ice Sphere, and ERR Rope or Attack Rope. But I do personally recommend attacks. With Energy Rope, I noticed in some cases you can be short on energy by just a tad to get the ultimate again, but this also depends on how many enemies you defeat. But I'd personally recommend attack more. As for substats, I recommend crit damage, crit rate, speed, and attack the most. And also if you do care about her freezing the enemies with that 100% base chance, you can also try to sprinkle in just a little bit of effect hit rate for that as well. As for her light cones, her best in slot is easily her signature light cone since she drains the health of allies. She actually gets all 3 stacks at once when she's in her vampire state, which means each enhanced skill gets the 42% damage increase and also the 12% defense ignore. As for alternatives though, I recommend On the Fall of an Aeon for a free-to-play option, Secret Vow for the damage increases, Under the Blue Sky for attack and crit rate increases, which can allow you to focus less on crit rate and substats and more on crit damage. Something Irreplaceable can be decent as well for the attack increases, as of HP restoration and damage increase as well with the right condition. Can also use Brighter Than the Sun on her, which is Don Hongail's signature light cone. I do feel a little bad though if you do snatch his light cone from him and give it to Jing Liu, but I mean, hey, it happens. Overall though, quite a few options you can use, even if you can't get her signature light cone. I do real quick want to talk about one more topic before we wrap things up, which is going to be her light cone or E1. From my personal experience and testing, I do recommend the light cone over E1. Both are awesome, but the light cone giving the damage increases and ignoring defense is so strong, and it's also really consistent on her. So for me personally, I would say go for the light cone. The E1 is good for increasing her crit damage and damage against the enemy she selectively targets, but the light cone definitely feels better when it comes to the value it provides overall, and also the consistency, as I've said, about the light cone when she has it equipped, and how she's able to abuse the passive of the light cone with her health draining of the team. But that'll be all. I hope you guys enjoyed my Jing Liu guide. Let me know if you guys are going to pull for Jing Liu. How do you plan to build her if you do pull her? If you guys see this and you already pulled her, let me know how it went. This week will be filled with Jing Liu videos, so make sure to subscribe if you guys enjoyed the video and want to see more style content from me, especially Jing Liu content, because I'm trying to become a Jing Liu main at this point. Leave a like also to support the video, and I hope you all have a great one. Peace.